Welcome to today's video. Get ready to witness heart-pounding, edge-of-your-seat moments where one small mistake can lead to disastrous consequences. Every decision, every move, matters when it comes to protecting lives. Stay alert and stay safe. Morning in Bellevue. Turned dangerous in an instant. A Tesla driver sped up, lost control, and slammed into another car while attempting a risky overtake. A close call with disaster. A truck speeds around a corner and slams directly into the side of a trailer, sending it flying. The impact flips the trailer over while a Touareg breaks away and both vehicles keep moving straight into a Chevrolet Lacetti stopped at a red light, crushing it completely. Two young men speeding on a motorcycle slam into a turning car just as the red light is about to change. The impact is brutal. Both riders are flung onto the road with one soaring over the roof of the car. The reckless driver crosses the tracks while the barrier is lowering, then calmly walks right before the train arrives, crashing straight into the car. The truck carrying an excavator took a corner too fast, lost control, and flipped over. Boom! Fortunately, the driver reacted in a split second, jumping out just before the crash. A narrow escape. One careless biker, and suddenly a chain reaction crash. Motorcycles scatter in all directions. Thankfully, no one was seriously hurt, but this is a lesson they won't forget. The Scania truck driver hurriedly crosses the intersection without waiting for the train, but misjudges the timing. The result? The train rushes in, sweeping away the truck. Now one can only guess at the extent of damage to the vehicle and its cargo. A high-stakes chase unfolds on the outskirts of Norway as a female driver in an old Mercedes B-Class tries to outrun a male driver in a tough Mercedes G-Wagon SUV. A thrilling pursuit straight out of an action movie. The small car suddenly slammed on the brakes on the highway, forcing the truck driver behind to swerve sharply. Tires screeched, just 1 second too late, and disaster would have struck. That fall looked pretty painful, but for some reason I can't stop laughing. Two women accelerated to overtake a bus, but suddenly a truck rushed toward them from the opposite direction. Too narrow, too fast, no time to react. They were forced down just inches from the bus's rear wheels. Miraculously, they escaped with only minor injuries. A heart-stopping moment. A Texas officer rushed to pull a woman to safety, just seconds before a truck lost control, crashing straight into her car. A miraculous escape. Highway security cameras capture a stunning moment. A loose truck tire suddenly flies off, hurtling straight toward an oncoming car. A dangerous situation that could have ended in disaster. Standing right at the designated spot, the man suddenly bends down and cycles under the barrier. Just as he hits the track, he looks left and freezes. The train is right beside him. Panicked, he tosses the bike down, stumbling and nearly falling as the train brushes by within inches. The woman recklessly crosses the tracks in the Netherlands and narrowly escapes death. The train rushes towards her, just a few centimeters away. A heart-stopping moment, fortunately not turning into a tragedy. A distracted container driver fails to slow down as he approaches a line of stopped vehicles, then slams straight into them, triggering a chaotic pileup. A car recklessly crosses the barrier and collides with the oncoming train. The driver accidentally switched gears just before the tracks, but luckily escaped unscathed. A truck carrying a speedboat stalled right on the train tracks, and the train was coming at full speed. Crash! The impact was devastating, sending the speedboat flying into the air. No one injured in the horrifying derailment at Santa Fe Junction, Kansas City. The instant the carriage leaves the tracks, multiple collisions follow. One carriage even soars into the air, slamming directly into the bridge above. Despite clear warning signals, the container truck recklessly crosses the barrier. Just then, the train rushes in at high speed, smashing sideways and severing the truck's cab. The accident leaves 3 passengers dead, leaving behind unending grief. A breathless moment. The man casually walks on the tracks, seemingly unaware of the train approaching like death itself. Immediately, a police officer dashes forward, pulling him to safety, just seconds before the train hits. A spectacular rescue in the nick of time. A police car suddenly stalls and gets stuck near the tracks while returning to headquarters. The officer quickly escapes just as the train speeds in. In an instant, the car is crushed by the train into a heap of scrap, leaving the policeman and rail guard feeling helpless. A car speeds like a rocket, cuts off an ox cart, then loses control and plunges straight into a roadside ditch. Was this a display of overconfidence or sheer recklessness? During a dyno test, a Ram pickup truck suddenly malfunctioned, causing a dangerous incident that sends everyone nearby into panic. A white Mercedes loses control at high speed and crashes straight into the car ahead, triggering a major multi-vehicle pileup. Driving behind the green SUV, he almost crosses the tracks, right in front of an oncoming train. At the last moment, he swerves. 1 second later, disaster would have struck. A biker's dash cam captures the shocking moment a Chevrolet Camaro blasts through a red light, slams into a Toyota RAV4, flipping it over before crashing into the biker himself. A domino effect, all caused by a single reckless move.
Jesus.
The truck driver ignores the blaring horns, driving straight onto the tracks. Immediately, the train crashes into it. A devastating collision, all due to one careless moment. An unbelievable moment. The woman casually crosses the tracks without paying attention, narrowly missing being hit by the oncoming train. A miraculous escape beyond belief. A car suddenly explodes at a gas station in northeast Brazil, propelling its fuel tank an astonishing 200 meters, smashing into a wall and another car. Incredibly, no one was hurt in this terrifying incident.
Aí, galera, foi que acabou de acontecer aqui no balão da Seada. Agora nesse momento aí. Eita porra, destruiu, viu?
The driver hit the gas, ramming straight into the car ahead, but immediately faced the consequences. The furious woman pounded on his car repeatedly, a relentless retaliation. A Nissan driver turned on the left signal but swerved straight into oncoming traffic, blocking a silver MPV, slamming the brakes too late. The MPV crashed head-on into the pickup truck, a disastrous mistake. At a crossing in Poland, a truck was crossing the tracks when the barrier dropped and blocked ahead. It couldn't escape in time. Then, suddenly the train speeds in, slamming into the truck's rear. The intense impact sends cargo bursting out everywhere. A tense moment. The heavily loaded truck crosses the tracks while the barrier is still up. But due to the truck's length, it just passes the tracks before the barrier comes down. Right after that, the train charges in, crashing straight into the trailer's rear. A bizarre crash unfolds in Illinois, USA, as a Buick and a Ford Explorer collide, sending one of the vehicles flying into a homeowner's yard. The owner rushes out in shock. But the drivers? They flee the scene without a trace. The ground suddenly collapses in Shaanxi province, forming a massive 2-meter deep sinkhole and swallowing a truck whole. A terrifying moment in the middle of a bustling city. The man signaled, but suddenly, the car surged forward, smashing into the security booth. Boom! Luckily, it stopped just in time, and the guard escaped unharmed. The cause? A new driver, unfamiliar with the car, and no license plate. A video shows a fast-moving orange truck slamming into the rear of moving cars, setting off a chain reaction crash. Vehicles lose control, crashing into one another, leaving behind total chaos. The car lost control, speeding at 193 kilometers per hour through Norman, Oklahoma. Way too dangerous. Police moved in quickly, using a patrol car to slam directly into it. Crash! The car spun out of control, hitting multiple vehicles nearby. After the train passes, the cyclist rushes across without realizing the passenger train is coming from the opposite direction. Just a few centimeters away from disaster. Luckily, he escapes, all because of a careless moment, not looking left or right before crossing. The white Toyota left the car wash, but suddenly hit the gas. Lost control. The car plunged over the parking edge, then flipped straight onto a fire hydrant. Water erupted everywhere. An absolutely embarrassing accident. A police car in South Florida executes a bold and precise maneuver, pinning down a fleeing Chevy Camaro with perfect timing. It looks like a move straight out of a Spider-Man action scene. The truck is stuck on the tracks, forcing the driver to abandon the vehicle just before the train charges in, crushing it. Luckily, the driver escapes, but one of the train staff gets lightly injured and is taken to the hospital. Recklessly crossing the railroad. A car was struck by a freight train while attempting to beat it across the tracks. Boom! The impact was massive, but miraculously, no injuries were reported. The shocking part? The driver just kept driving like nothing happened. A horrifying moment. Assault train in Posad crashes straight into a truck, sending it flying towards the onlookers, creating a haunting scene. high-speed crash in Pune occurs when a speeding car slams into a bicycle, sending 2 people flying onto the road. CCTV footage captures the moment the car loses control and spins sideways after the impact. Heart-stopping moment. The woman recklessly rides her bike across the crossing while the barriers are down, but with an overloaded basket, she clumsily falls onto the tracks. At that very moment, 2 female crossing guards rush in, pulling her out just in time to prevent a catastrophic accident. A truck breaks down on the railway tracks. Just as the driver steps out, the SH-62 freight train barrels toward it, a devastating collision. The truck splits in half. 3 train cars derail, and the railway is left in ruins, bringing the north-south line to a complete standstill. The back of the truck was ripped apart, trying to squeeze through Watford's infamous width restriction. A collision without mercy. The train driver honks a warning, but the car still recklessly crosses right in front of the train, leading to a minor collision. Luckily, the driver isn't hurt, just a moment of panic. Riding a bicycle while holding an umbrella is extremely risky. It reduces control and slows reaction time, making unexpected accidents far more likely. A serious threat to road safety. The BMW driver recklessly sits right in the middle of the tracks at the crossing, even though the gate was open. Fortunately, a quick-thinking bystander lifts the barrier by hand and urges the driver to move off the tracks, just seconds before the train rushes through, narrowly avoiding a tragedy. 2 women recklessly jump down before the train fully stops and fall flat onto the ground. One nearly gets swept away by the train, but luckily bystanders rush in, pulling her from danger just in the nick of time. Footage captures a white car recklessly speeding across the railway crossing, despite the barriers being down in Świebodzin, Poland. Just then, a train comes rushing in, smashing into the car, sending it flying. The front is completely destroyed, but incredibly, no one was injured. The driver recklessly takes a shortcut across the tracks, but gets trapped right in the middle. All rescue attempts are useless. At the very last moment, he escapes just before the train arrives, crushing the SUV into a mangled heap of metal. Just as the husband prepares to reverse, his wife casually closes the door and walks away completely arbeiderei. When he steps on the gas, bam! The window shatters, a masterclass in teamwork, but in the worst possible way. A truck stuck on the tracks in the US, all rescue attempts fail. The driver abandons the vehicle. The train speeds in fast, smashing into the truck, breaking it in half and leaving nothing but scrap metal. A delivery rider risked squeezing between 2 vehicles but suddenly got stuck. Trapped in a tight space, unable to move. A heart-stopping moment. Fortunately, he escaped safely, unharmed. A white car lost control on a mountain curve, crashing head-on into a Mitsubishi SUV. A devastating impact. The front end shattered. Luckily, no one was injured. The railway barriers are stuck in the up position, flashing lights and alarm not working, unable to prevent the serious accident. As a result, the front-runner train speeds in, slamming violently into a FedEx truck, causing a powerful collision. A dramatic moment. A white Volkswagen smashed through the glass storefront, crashing into a shop. Inside, a man and woman were waiting for their drinks. Just a second later, and disaster would have struck. Luckily, they escaped unscathed. A good Samaritan tries to help two women lift a scooter, but accidentally makes things worse. The engine was still running, and he twisted the throttle by mistake, sending the scooter plunging straight into the water. The two women could only watch in despair. A crossover recklessly changed lanes to block an opponent. The pickup driver swerved hard to avoid, but once ahead, he swung back sharply. Boom! The trailer ripped apart the front of the crossover, a costly price for foolish driving. A car suddenly jumps onto the sidewalk and gives a construction worker an unexpected seat change. The driver wasn't just reckless, he attacked someone after the crash. Absolutely irresponsible. Total disregard for traffic laws. While in motion, a container truck suddenly tilts dangerously, nearly toppling onto a nearby car. Miraculously, both vehicles escaped disaster by inches, averting a catastrophic tragedy. A motorcyclist barely avoided a head-on crash with a fuel truck. Just 1 second later, and disaster would have struck. An incredible escape, unbelievably lucky. A taxi in China suddenly explodes and bursts into flames in the middle of the road. Luckily, the driver escapes just in time, by inches. Too reckless. The semi-truck driver attempted a blind overtake. Boom! The trailer slammed hard into an oncoming truck. A dangerously poor decision. Collision, argument, or something else. A crazy, furious scene unfolds in the middle of the street. Finally, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss out on more thrilling content. Hit that notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.